Hi all. In this video, let's learn few points as a front-end developer, which would be help us in day-to-day life. Okay, this is a part 9 of this video. I will keep the playlist of our remaining things at the end of the video. Okay, let's get started. So these are the points we'll be discussing. So the first point is regarding the input element. So let me take an input element number. So input type number. So this is how we used to write an input type number. So it means I'm trying to keep an input field and want to give only the numbers that are ranging. So minimum is 1 and maximum is 10. So this is what the range, input range, which I want to give. Okay, fine. So what if the user is giving the number more than 1, less than 1, or more than 10? So in order to style the input element, so we need to give some sort of alert to the users that he's going out of the bound, out of the range which was given to this number field. So for that, we can style this input field with the range. So let's do that with the pseudo styles. So I will give this input hyphen and I can say in range. So if the user is in range, so you have a property called in range. If the user is in range, then you can give a border 2 pixel solid, and I'm giving yellow color. So it means if he sees this yellow color, it means we are indicating that he's in the range bound. So let's give out range. So it means if he goes out of the range. So let me take this out of the range property. This is pseudo style. So if he's out of the range, so let's do this like we are going the 2 pixels solid, and now we'll give the red. So it means we are giving some sort of information to the user that he's out of the range. So this is how we can style the input elements. So let's see this once. So here we have, so now it is in yellow. Now I will give the 4. So we got yellow because it is in range. So if I give this as 40, if I go back, now it is coming as a red color. So I think that this image is overlapping that red color, but usually we'll be getting an red indication that he's out of the range. So that sort of information will be providing. If he's 4, so then we given the yellow color. So this is how we can style the input elements based on that, this in range and outrange pseudo styling. Okay, this is the first point. So coming to the second point, so let me discuss the second point like this. So this is an image. Okay, I'm referring this src from the internet. So this is an image I'm referring, JavaScript image. So this URL have kept as a src. So now we got this image here. Okay, we got this JavaScript logo image here. So we'll see this like on for this sort of elements. So on image, if the image is not there, if the image is not available at this URL, what will happen? We'll see an broken image. Okay, for that we have an option called alt. So where we can give some alternate text here. So if the whenever the image is broken, then you can use this alt and you can show this text instead of the broken image. So apart from this alt, so we have one more attribute called on error. So this attribute is up, we can apply this on error attribute on image element. So what does this on error attribute does is, so if there is no image, if this image is broken, so we can do two sort of things. Let me do one like this dot style dot display none. So I will be giving the display as none. So it means whenever I get an error, so if the image is not loaded, so for the reason it is not available in through the net, or if this image is not available at the current point of time, then on error attribute I'm using, and I'm telling that don't show this image element. So that is what I'm doing. Okay, so let's see the output. So now image is coming because it is pointing to the right path. So let me change this path 1 to 3. I'm adding 1 to 3. So now as I have modified the image path, so the image will not be available at this path. So then what we are doing, we'll be getting an error. So on error, so then this attribute would be invoked on, because this image is not available at this point, then this on error event like attribute will be triggered, and it is what it will do, this dot style dot display none. If the image is not available, it will disable all this image tag, image element. It will make this image element display none. It means it will not show the image at the in the document. You're getting? So this is one of the use case we can do. The next use case is that instead of disabling the entire image element, you can give a fallback image. That you can do by mentioning src, and now you can give any of the fallback image, okay, here. So now instead of hiding the image, or instead of showing a broken image, if you give the fallback image like this on error attribute, by using on error attribute, if you give the fallback image throughout the application, throughout your web application, then users can understand, okay, whenever the image is broken, instead of that they are getting this fallback image. Okay, then they can understand. If you maintain the fallback image throughout the application the same, then the users can understand, okay, the image was broken, so that's the reason I'm getting this fallback image. So you can also use this sort of fallback image as well for the on error attribute. So these are the two things we can do with the on error fallback. Whenever the image is not available, you can completely disable this image, or else you can use entirely in unique, or a fallback image which would be common. Whenever the image is broken, you can use a common fallback image throughout the application. So this is the two things you can do. Okay, coming to the third point. So let's take this like if you take a switch statement. So I'm giving a constant week 2 and a switch statement like this. So this is a normal form of switch statement. So whenever the weekday is 2, so it was given as 2. Okay, now the case 1 is not satisfied, and it goes to the case 2, and it will trigger this method. Okay, that's the reason we got console. In console you got as Tuesday. You can see the Tuesday. Okay, let me stop this fallback because this image is not available and it is going to this fallback. Okay, so fine. Coming to this point. Okay, that's the reason we are getting Tuesday here. Okay, this is a normal form of switch statement. So we have some methods defined here, and based upon this weekday value, okay, this statement is compared and this method is invoked. So instead of writing this normal form or a long form, so we can write it in a short way. So let me show you how we can write in a short way. Let cases. So I'm taking an object. So here I'm taking an object 1. So the key is 1, and when you get a key 1, so I'm calling this. So I'm this is a value. 1 is a key, and this is a value for that key. So I will take 2 as a key, and I will give Tuesday, and the 3 and Wednesday. So on. So you can give so on. Fine. So here what I have done is I have taken a normal object and I'm giving key and its relative method name. So here also, if you get 1, then you are going to call this method, right? If you get 2, you're calling this method. Like same ways, I'm giving the key as 1 and the method is this. Value is as a method name. Fine. So now how to call this? So I will use cases, and now we can access the objects like this as well. So this is in a square notation to access the properties. So now what I will keep is weekday. Okay, now weekday is 2. Okay, now we'll be getting the weekday, and I need to call the method, right? So I'm calling like this. So now what we'll be getting is weekday. Whenever you give like this, you will be getting this value. And to call that method, I'm giving this brackets. Okay, now let's go and see. So Tuesday. So one Tuesday is we got with the normal form and the longer form. So the second Tuesday we got with respect to this use case. So this is a shorter form for the switch statements. Hope you understand this. We have taken an object and key value paid, and this is how we are accessing the methods. So whenever the weekday value is modified, it works the same. Like if the weekday value is modified to 1, this Monday is would be triggered here. The same would be happen in this way also. Fine. So coming to the last point. So this is about the resetting all the properties. For example, if you have a button, so let me take a button here. So I have a button. So this is button reset me. So if you have a button and you have some styles given to that button, so let me give some styles to that button. Like its color should be yellow. Okay. and background color as black or something. Okay, so this button or this element has some sort of styles defined. So in while you're working with the front end web development, you may get a situations like you want to remove all the styles applied to a particular element. Okay, you'll be getting some situations where you want to remove all the styles applied to that element. Okay, so if you button has some element styles, so all these styles would be applied to this button element. Fine. Now if you want to remove all the styles applied to this button, then how can you do that? So you, if you don't know, you're not aware of you need to go to each and every css file. If it is one file, you can modify that, and if there are multiple files, you need to check them and you need to modify. And this is not only one property, you need to remove all the properties. So in these situations, we have only one property where it will help us. So that property is all. So before that, I will show you how it appears. So this is a button. So I have zoomed this, so that's the reason it is appearing like this. Okay, so this is appeared like this. Okay, this is a button, reset me. So I want to remove all the styles applied to this button. Okay, then instead of going to each and every css file and I'm removing that styles, we have a single property where it helps us, like let me write this button style again, and just I will keep all unset. So if you do this one line property, if you do all and unset, then all the styles which are applied to that element will be removed. So see, all the styles to that button were removed, unset. So all unset. So if you do this, you are resetting all the properties of this element so that it will, no style is applied to this button. You're resetting all the styles. So this is the easiest way to reset the properties of an element instead of going to each and every file and finding that element and removing that styles. So this is one of the helpful point. So remember this as well. So I will keep the remaining parts of knowing the important points of a front-end developer in the end card as a playlist. Try to watch that as well. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos.